after all these millions of years of dreaming, we still don't know why we dream. So I was doing a bunch of research on all the theories and stuff, and I was thinking, what's the best way to figure out the best theory on why we have rapid eye movement sleep and why we're having dreams every night. And I was thinking, of course, a tier list. A tier list is the best fucking way to trying to figure out which is the best one and rank them. So yeah, I did a bit of research on all these, but obviously I'm not a neuroscientist, so don't listen to anything I say. I'm just fucking retarded, okay? I'm retarded. I know there's gonna be some nerd in the comments saying I don't know what I'm talking about, because I don't. So the first one though, activation synthesis. Sorry, I'm not good at pronouncing that, but that should probably be first. Not gonna lie, I don't fuck with this theory. I don't fuck with this. Like, it's basically just saying your dreams are just your brain trying to make sense of kind of random circuits firing off in your mind, because when we sleep, your mind's not actually like asleep, it's still active, and lots of shit's firing off in your brain. There's lots of neurons going off and whatever, and this theory kind of says dreams are meaningless. Actually, I should probably say who came up with this. J. Allen Hobson and Robert McCauley, okay? They came up with activation synthesis. Yeah, it's basically just your dreams are just your brain trying to make sense of like random signals firing off. You know what's funny though is like when I was searching up this one, I saw it has a lot of mainstream attention recently, definitely within the past like 10 years, which surprises me. I don't know why. I guess it's kind of a thing. I feel like it's a thing in society. People don't want to believe dreams have meanings, which I guess I was actually like that. I can't even talk shit about that because I was like that a few years ago. I thought dreams had no meaning at all. But as you'll see with a lot of these other theories, the belief that your brain is just making dreams because of like random circuits firing off is kind of whack, in my opinion, because a lot of dreams have really... They're structured, they have narratives. I know a lot of them are random, but a lot of them also have narratives, especially if you remember a lot of dreams. So I don't really know about that. It's just become popular recently. There's a lot of opposition to it as well. I don't know, maybe part of it is, I think the people who made this theory still didn't discredit that dreams can be really helpful for like coming up with creative ideas and stuff. So I'm not going to talk too much shit about it, but in my opinion, that whole idea is kind of mid, okay? Also, I didn't read like fucking 20 peer-reviewed studies on each theory, okay? I didn't do that shit. So once again, don't quote me on anything. Wish fulfillment. That was created or like came up by that Freud guy, Sigmund Freud. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. This was actually one of the earlier theories on why we dream, and it was that your brain is kind of keeping you asleep by fulfilling these deep subconscious wishes and subconscious desires and shit like that. I think he came up with that in the 1800s. I may be really wrong. Wait, no, that's awkward. I don't know when Sigmund Freud was alive. That's fucking awkward. I mean, it looks so dumb now. I haven't read any of those guys' books. I really need to. I'm still reading that Carl Jung fucking book. Yeah, but dreams are just there. Let me stay on topic. Dreams are there to fulfill your deep subconscious desires and deep wishes. And I think he came up with this because of a dream he had about one of his patients, where the dream kind of shifted the blame for like... he was concerned or like felt guilty or something about one of his patients and maybe not giving her the right treatment. And then he had a dream that kind of convinced him it wasn't his fault and he shouldn't be guilty about it. And I think it was called Irma's injection was the dream. And he analyzed that a bunch, and that's how he came up with the theory that your dreams are just there to fulfill deep desires. And, you know, what should that be? And I don't know, like, if that holds much weight these days, because it was like one of the really early theories. Though that does hold some merit, actually, because I remember lots of dreams, obviously, so I can say a lot of them are fulfilling wishes, but a lot of them aren't, and a lot of them are fulfilling like nightmares, or like things I don't wish to happen, which I'll talk about with that, I guess, the threat simulation shit. But Yeah, I guess that does hold some merit. You know what? You know what I want to be fulfilled? I wish I want fulfilled is I always I kind of low key want someone to like recognize me in public. Like I think I want someone to come up to me and be like, "Yo, is that Tiger 123?" I didn't really think about that. I didn't really think about that a lot until I had a dream the other day where I was walking around the zoo and some girl with cancer, maybe you should interpret this. Some girl with cancer, I don't know why, came up to me and was like, "Oh my god, are you Tiger 123?" And like, she wanted to take a photo with me. I was like, "Yeah." And I was trying to act all cool and like mysterious and shit. And then she took a photo of me and I felt really cool and I was like, wish fulfilled. I don't know why that happened as well. I don't know how the fuck she found me in the zoo. That was a really crowded zoo. Interesting dream though. But yeah, that's good. That's close to being mid for me, but that's a good theory. The next one, reverse learning is interesting. I'm gonna put that in mid just to talk about it, okay? That's not the final ranking. But reverse learning is that we're having dreams to actually get rid of parasitic memories and forget shit. Wait, who came up with this? Crick and Mitchison. Yeah. So reverse learning is that your brain is like sifting through information while you dream to forget shit. And I guess that's why most people forget dreams and whatever, because you're just having them to like forget parasitic memories. And something they did to back this up was look at echidnas. Because apparently echidnas don't have REM sleep and so don't really dream. Actually, they do dream, I was searching up, but it depends on the temperature or some shit. But most of the times echidnas don't have REM sleep, and that's because they have an enlarged frontal cortex, apparently, and they theorize that that's because they don't have REM sleep and they need that enlarged frontal cortex to deal with these parasitic memories that other species like humans can't deal with. They also said the human brain is really inefficient at like storing shit, so it explains that we would need some way to get rid of all these memories and like clean up storage in our brain basically, which is what the reverse learning theory is. Interesting. I'm gonna put that in mid, sorry. I don't really, once again, I don't really see, that makes sense. I guess that kind of makes sense if our brain is inefficient at storing all these memories. Actually, I'm gonna put that in good, because I don't want to, I'm gonna put that in good. The next one, threat simulation. That's one of the best. I need to put that in the best. Not that I 100% believe. I don't 100% believe any of these are the reasons we dream. I have no fucking idea, but I think threat simulation is a good one, and that's obviously we're dreaming to better deal with threats, possible threats, or avoid threats. And like that makes sense, and I think there's been studies showing in dreams there's much more aggression in dreams and misfortune than in the waking world, apparently. And there was also a study to test this threat simulation theory, which was that apparently they studied students who had an exam tomorrow, and the students who had a dream of failing the exam ended up performing better on the exam, which I guess adds to the theory that their brain was simulating a threat to better deal with it. Also, there was a study to do with this on traumatized children, I think in like war zones and kind of countries that have like wars and shit. Traumatized children compared to non-traumatized children. The traumatized children obviously had more like threatening situations in their dreams. But you know what? Actually, I don't really see how that adds much to this theory or hypothesis. What is this? This is a hypothesis, not a theory. Also made by Ravonsu, whoever the fuck that is. But I don't really get that. If we think about the traumatized children thing plus the study about the people having the exam, failing the exam, and then doing better on the exam the next day. Firstly, let me talk about the exam thing. Obviously, if you're dreaming about failing an exam, that may just mean you're really thinking it and you're overthinking it, because what we think about a lot, we dream about. So it could just be the people who thought or dreamt about failing the exam weren't actually worried about doing bad on the exam. It could have just been they were really overthinking it and maybe studied more than people who didn't dream about failing the exam, which is why they also performed better on it. It doesn't necessarily mean their better performance on the exam had anything to do with the dream, right? You know what I mean? So it's also with the traumatized children thing as well. If you're in traumatizing situations in the real world, you're gonna dream about more traumatizing things. If you're in happy situations, you're gonna dream about more happy things. Whatever you're focused on or whatever situations you're going through in the real world, you're gonna dream more about it. I don't think that necessarily means dreams are about avoiding or dealing with threats. However, I do believe still, besides all that, I do believe still that is a good hypothesis. Because that makes sense. We've been dreaming for like thousands, tens of thousands, probably hundreds of thousands of years, humans, right? It makes sense that we would evolve to have dreams to deal with threats, especially back in the day, back in the caveman era, you know, when shit, we had to deal with like all this fucking things, and our brain needed a way to like be like, yo, what the fuck are you doing? Like, watch out for these snakes and shit. Like, so that makes sense. Also, talking of snakes, I'm in Australia and there's lots of snakes. And to add to this theory, I've had a lot of dreams of being chased by a fucking snake, okay? After as well, seeing like snakes where I go running and shit. So that makes sense. Social simulation is another one, which is that dreams are there to help us be better at social simulations. And you know, I can say this theory holds some merit. I also saw there was some study while I was reading about this theory. Who made this as well? Who made this burger? Oh, Ravonzo, the same guy who made the threat simulation theory or hypothesis made the social simulation theory. And this holds some merit. I think while I was reading about this, I saw something about a study saying people who were secluded for like a day or something ended up having firstly more REM sleep and more people in their dream. Now, don't quote me on that shit at all. I don't know how real that is, because when I went to look at the study, it was just like a book that I couldn't get my hands on, so I don't know how legit that is. And I think I also saw a study saying the opposite of that, so I'm not too sure on those results. However, I'll say this. I've always been like, I'm a really isolated person, and even as a kid, I was always like introverted and much preferred to just stay in my room instead of going outside. And you know me, I've always been into dreams and lucid dreaming, so I remember a lot of dreams. And I can say all my dreams have people in them and social simulations. All my fucking dreams have like, yeah, situations where I'm talking to people, especially when I'm like really isolated. This is just like my experience, so obviously don't take this with a grain of fucking salt or whatever, but yeah, when I'm really isolated, I have lots more dreams of talking to people. So that kind of makes sense. And also, yeah, that's in a way that's similar to the threat simulation thing. You're dealing with threats. You need to deal with possible threats and social simulations and shit. That could also link in with the wish fulfillment thing as well. Also, oh yeah, that's another hypothesis that I didn't include because I couldn't find much information on it. But kind of under the social simulation theory is the bonding hypothesis, which is that REM sleep and dreams are there to help nurture a bonding relationship between an infant and a mother. Not because the infant is dreaming of like being nurtured by the mother or whatever. It's actually that because of REM sleep, when you like wake up a bunch and babies are having REM sleep 50% of the time they sleep and they're waking up, it's kind of making it so the mother is more inclined to care for the child during REM sleep because of the baby waking up and crying and needing to be cared for. So that's another kind of smaller hypothesis. I don't know who made that. I don't think it was the Ravonsu guy. But REM sleep may be there as well to like, yeah, create a stronger bond between mother and child. Defensive activation is interesting. Defensive activation is an interesting theory, which is that when parts of your brain, say for example, when parts of your brain to do with like getting visual input from your eyes are not used, those parts of your brain are taken over by other parts of your brain, say for example to do with touch or to do with hearing, kind of like a hostile takeover. And what I mean by that is studies show that when someone is blind, obviously a blind person doesn't really need the parts of their brain to do with reading visual input from the eyes. So that parts of their brain, the visual parts of their brain, are taken over by the parts of their brain to do with like hearing or touch, for example. And it's not just blind people. There's studies showing even people who are like blindfolded and trying to do tasks, parts of their brain to do with getting visual input are taken over within like literally a span of like an hour. Not that it's like it's gonna make them like blind or some shit, but you know what I mean. Your brain like compensates when it doesn't like need to get visual input or whatever. And obviously since you're dreaming for like 8 hours or whatever, you're not getting any visual input because your eyes are closed. So this theory says it's your brain's way to basically, dreams is your brain's way to give you visual input to stop the visual parts of your brain to do with all that shit, to stop it from getting taken over by other parts of your brain. I don't know if that makes sense. Who was that made by? Eagleman and Vaughan as well. Eagleman and Vaughan. It also explains why infants spend 50% of their time in REM sleep and why people's REM periods get shorter as they get older, because babies' brains are obviously much more plastic, so the visual parts of their brain would be much more like prone to being taken over by neighbors in their brain, like metaphorically neighbors, right? Also, your brain is obviously less plastic as you age and get older, so there's less need for dreams and REM sleep, which would explain that whole thing of why you have less REM sleep as you age. So, that's actually no one thinks about that, but that's really fucking genius. That makes sense. Everything in that theory matches up and makes sense. And yeah, I didn't hear about that until I searched it up. Overfitted brain is interesting as well. That kind of compares the brain to AI and neural networks. Who made that? Overfitted brain hypothesis, Eric Hull. So this kind of compares the brain to neural networks and artificial intelligence. And when you train let me give an example. When you're training AI to generate images of a person, if you feed a bunch of data on people to the AI so it can generate images, but all your data is just of one race, for example, the data will be very biased. Obviously, if you're just feeding the neural network or the AI, I'm going to link this in with dreams. I'm going to link this in with a human brain. But if you're just feeding it the same fucking data, it's going to become biased and it's not going to be able to generalize, okay? So that's why AI researchers kind of mathematically corrupt the data, I guess, by injecting noise and kind of injecting random data into the data sets. So the AI shit doesn't get overfitted and like biased. And the overfitted brain hypothesis is theorizing that's what happens when you dream, because when you're learning things in the real world, obviously you're coming across really similar scenarios every day. You're seeing really similar things. So to stop your brain from becoming overfitted and kind of biased and not being able to generalize, it's kind of injecting noise, I guess, into your brain. So that's I'm gonna put that in mid actually, because I don't think that really, I don't personally believe that is like has much merit. I keep saying that. I don't know how else to word it. To me, I think all these other theories are much more, they hold more weight than that. I'm not really seeing it. I think that's of course, a valuable thing because that could be true, but I think these ones are the best. But you know what? I was thinking it could be all of these. We don't know why we dream exactly, and I don't even know if we'll ever figure that out. But it could be all of these. They could all be the best. or it could be none of them. Or it could, actually not none of them. It could just be the activation synthesis fucking hypothesis. Where our dreams have no meaning at all. None of this shit matters. Everything is meaningless. We're dreaming for no reason. It's just random circuits in our brain. I don't know if that's true, but it could be. Let me know your thoughts on this. There are a lot more theories, but there's just, I didn't want to like spend too much time looking into them because that would probably take like a fucking decade. However, let me know what you think of this. Give me your own ranking on these theories, okay? And I'm sorry if it didn't make much sense me explaining them. Obviously, I'm not a fucking neuroscientist. Like I said, I don't know what I'm talking about. Don't trust me. I'm retarded, okay? Take this all with a grain of salt. Don't listen to anything I say. But in saying that, dislike the video, leave me a mean comment, never ever join the Discord. Wait, subscribe to me though. Subscribe to me though. That'd be pretty fucking dope if you did that. But farewell, goodbye. I love you. Goodbye.